Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are working on a 2019 Mazda CX-5. The situation we got on this one is we have a vibration coming on acceleration, and that happens around 60 miles per hour and up. When we are trying to accelerate, we feel the vibration. If we take a foot off the gas pedal, the vibration disappears. So I've ordered the right side CV axle for this, so we're gonna go ahead and replace the CV axle on this car today to see if that was correct diagnosis and if that fixes our vibration issue. The tires are all good, have plenty of tread on them, and they are properly balanced, so let's hope that that will fix our problem today. First thing we're gonna do, lift up the car, support it with the jack stand, remove the front wheel. I have jacked up the vehicle as high as I possibly can, support it with the jack stand just for safety. I lifted it up so that if I'm removing the other axle, the old axle, the transmission fluid doesn't come out that quick if anything comes out. So 21mm for the 5 nuts holding the wheel. Wheel is off. Next up, CV axle nut, which is a 32mm. Here it comes. Try to give the axle light taps. Probably put the nut back on, thread it in a little bit, and then we can go ahead and take out the 32mm socket. Just like this. Take our socket and tap it with the nut on. Next up, we're gonna turn our steering wheel all the way to the right to easily access those caliper bolts. Undo it from here, this holding clip. Then we're gonna use a bungee cord to tie that brake caliper onto the strut so it doesn't hang on the brake line and damage it. We have our wheel turned all the way to the right to access these two 17mm caliper bolts. One out, other one down here. Now we're gonna use our bungee cord, hook it up. I'm going to remove this brake caliper, so once we're working on the spindle it doesn't fall on my legs and hurt. We're also gonna go ahead and remove this ABS speed sensor 10mm, so it's not pulling from the wiring. Yes, wheel speed sensor removed. Put the screw back here. Next one, we're gonna go ahead and remove the top sway bar nut to make our lives easier, so the strut doesn't move left and right while we're undoing, or once we have these removed. Sway bar nut is removed. I think it was 40mm with its weight. Use the little bar to pry on it to bring it down and slide it out. Now we're going to remove those two bolt and nut that goes through the spindle and strut assembly. We have 24mm on the nut side and the 21mm on the other side. We have those two bolts nuts removed. We're gonna push out the CV axle from the spindle. You can see there's plenty of room for you to work on it. Now we have two nuts holding the center bearing bracket there. Let's go ahead and remove the center bearing bracket. 12mm nuts on an extended neck wrench. One is out and the other one on top. Trying to find it anyways. Can't do it with one hand. Here's our old one, here's our new one. Bottom one is a new one, top one is an old one. We make sure we sit them side by side to confirm that they are exact same length. Now we can go ahead and slide the CV axle back in. No transmission fluid came out on my end. CV axle is slided in. I mounted back the CV axle bracket right here, two 12mm nuts holding it. Make sure you get your socket properly over it and break them loose without making them round. So next thing we're gonna do, pull the spindle back, slide CV axle other end into the spindle, lift it up here. I'm gonna use my other hand to guide it into the splines. Then I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the bolt and nut right here. Spindle is bolted back to the strut. Successfully fed CV axle through. Next one up. Now these are ABS wheel speed sensor. Slide this one in. Screw in the 10mm, holding that sensor in on this hub. Now let's go ahead and put this brake caliper back on. Sorry, brake rotor first, and then our brake caliper hanging there. Brake rotor and caliper reinstalled. Bolts are tightened down. Let's go ahead and straighten up this steering wheel again so we can reinstall our sway bar link. Sway bar link is installed. Now it's time to go ahead and torque down our CV axle nut. I'm gonna go ahead and thread it in with impact gun, nice and slow until it taps out, and then we're gonna go ahead and torque it to spec. Last thing, remove our jack once you have installed the wheel, of course, and go for a test run.